Hello everyone, my name is FlareBlitzed and welcome back to this wonderful visual novel, Missing Time. In the last time around, we went to the end of the demo to this game, but there are many choices which we did not select within our initial playthrough. Firstly, shall we agree or decline Ember's offer for lunch, or decline so that we go with Chihara instead, which we did initially? We'll agree. That's a bit sudden, but I feel bad that Ember has gone through all this trouble and might have to eat alone. Since Chihara didn't seem to be able to talk anytime soon, I decided to take it upon myself to answer. Yeah, sure. Where do you want to meet up? Awesome! I always eat on the roof. School terrace. Sounds good. What do you think, Chihara? Taken aback. I made plans and excuse me. To my bewilderment, and Ember's too, Chihara takes off running like she's been chased by a ghost. She wanted us to come with her to lunch, but yet she didn't inform us of that particular... Anyways, strange girl, huh? Yeah, I feel a bit guilty now. Chihara probably wants to spend lunch together, hence the huge bento box. Asking her to lunch with Ember all of a sudden like that probably had spooked her. Chihara's never been the best with changes of plan, and her slow decision-making skill makes it even worse. Oh well, I can't do anything about it now. I'll have to go find Chihara later and see if she's okay. I make my way to the rooftop as soon as the bell rang. It took me a while to figure out how to get up here. It doesn't seem like a lot of students wander near the western wing stairway. I wonder why Ember wants to have lunch here. Maybe this is a good chance to get to know her better. The view is breathtaking here. Clear sky, unobstructed by the trees. All noises fade into the background, buzzing like cicadas in summer. You can see just about every house in town from here, hidden under the great mountain shade. Whoa, this really is a great place. Right? I come here to think sometimes. It's quiet and not a lot of people wander up here, you know. I also feel reassured that there's a fence on the roof itself, just considering that certain times when you go to the school roof, if you're unfortunately having a particular mindset, you do feel like you want to go beyond the edge. Anyways, it is very peaceful. Ember pushes a tier of her bento box towards me. Mumbling a thank you, I open the lid. A beautiful arrangement of sashimi, rolled sweet eggs, and grilled meat is revealed. Even with my amateur eyes, I can see how delicate each cut is. How everything is shaped carefully and placed in a vibrant piece of art. The tuna slices are crusted with fine bonito flakes and spices. The sweet eggs are fried to perfection. The colour unison inside out. There's even a hint of butter in there, which is interesting. And the meat. Ember seems so intimidating at first. I never thought she would be capable of preparing something so beautiful. That's why you never judge a book by its cover at first. Even the most colourless looking books can have a sense of flair in them, no pun intended. I'm glad I agreed to this lunch. It just shows you can't judge. Oh my goodness sakes, I just said that! Holding up a slice of honey glazed beef, I blink. Whoa, this is so good. Whoa, this is really good. What is the seasoning you used? Oh, she's definitely pink now. Ember punches me lightly on the shoulder. Don't even try to butter me up. Is that meant to be a food reference? Honestly, the seasoning makes the food food pack quite a punch. No pun intended, it really brings out the freshness and texture of the food. I eat a slice of meat in one bite, making an appreciative noise. I don't marinate food for a long time because I like my food fresh. Indeed. You know, marinating for meat for 1 to 2 hours would dissipate the meat's natural flavours, and for me it downgrades the quality of the meat. But I love all food with complex senses. It's like a puzzle, figuring out which kind of herb and spices used in a dish, you know. Wow, you really are passionate about this. Whoa! It's not like it's anything big. What do you even know? I bet you just get all soft and mushy when it comes to food. Sensitive, isn't she? But it is really good. Shush your mouth! Well, I'm trying to shush my mouth. I mean, it's polite to eat without opening your mouth. You don't get how many times people talk with their mouth open while eating. And also the amount of times that people don't close their mouths while eating. Whoa! Suddenly Ember throws an arm around my neck and squeezes, wheezing. I struggle. There's kicking and hands slapping her arm. Only to freeze when I feel something soft against my face. Do you yield? I open my mouth, but the words are stuck at the back of my throat. Ember's open blaze does little to hide how plush... Okay. Aww. It's also very difficult for me to not think about the fact that my entire face is... Yep. What do I even... How do you... Should I just sit here and feign ignorance? Let's just let the timer run out then. Gah! Maybe the awkward silence finally got her. But since Ember quickly pushes me away, blushing to the tip of her ruffled up hair, I'm not faring any better. My entire skin feels like it's on fire, and my tongue feels like it's permanently stuck to the roof of my mouth. No pun intended, because we are on the roof of a building. Yeah, 3 options. Yes, no, or let the timer run out. I thought the timer run out would be the embarrassing option. But it was kind of nice though. Decided to not make her any more uncomfortable, I shift my attention back to the food. It's only then do I realise there's a glaring absence of vegetables. You don't seem to like veggies much, huh? Never liked green stuff. Even as a kid, I eat fruits sometimes. But it has to be juicy like berries. But that's not good. What do you mean? Fruit is good for you. But that's not good for your health. What can I say? I'm a carnivore. Rawr. You trying to say that you're a dinosaur? Or a canine? No, you're a cat, sorry. A cat is a true carnivore, not a dog. Dogs are omnivores. Her impression with her clawed hand is adorable. I quickly find myself laughing along. Ember is a lot friendlier than I thought. Despite her hot and cold attitude, she is still easy to get along with. We fall into a comfortable silence, working through the bento's delicious contents, but I can sense there's something on Ember's mind. It's just a matter of time before she springs the question. So what brought you here for senior year? Must be tough transferring on the last year, no? Yep, there it is. It's only natural. People see a new face, people have questions. Yeah. He passed away and left us a house. My parents decided to move, and here I am. That sucks, man. I would have hated if I got kicked around like that. I wouldn't say it's being kicked around, it sucks, yeah. But I guess I'm just grateful. I wasn't moved in the middle of the school year. That's true. Did you and Chinharu knew each other before this? Oh yeah, we both actually used to live here when we were kids. But my family moved away when I was 9. Chara's parents do a lot of business overseas, so we decided to send her to a boarding school a few years after I moved. Whoa, so you both were originally from here? Yep, didn't expect to see her again. I'm really glad she came back here for the last year. It is nice to see a familiar face. You really care about her, huh? Well, she was my best friend growing up. Even if our relationship isn't the same now, I'm so glad to be her friend. You sure you don't have a crush on her or something? Wait, what? Not asking because I want to know anything. Sorry, I mean... Gah. What do you want, Ember? It's just guys don't seem to be attached to girls if they don't have the same kind of attraction. And are you saying that the protagonist and Chiharu have that kind of same or similar attraction? This girl's view on a friendship is rather skewed, isn't it? Regardless, I feel a blush creeping on my cheeks. It's not every day someone asks me if I have a crush on my childhood best friend. Clear my throat, I will my embarrassment down. Yeah, that makes sense. No. I don't have a crush on her. She's my childhood friend. Of course I'll be attached to her, you know. Right. Sorry I asked. It's fine. We sink into silence once more. This time a bit awkward. Red still stains Ember's cheeks. Her grip on her chopsticks is knuckle white. I decide to venture and break the discomfort between us. I don't think I've ever seen Ember around, even before I moved away. Did you move here as well? My adoptive parents are native here. I'm a half-blood kid? Oh, I see. Yeah, okay, veering away from that topic for now. We're not close enough to discuss why Ember is a... Shouldn't that be in thinking bubbles? So... Or brackets, sorry? So, you have a theme for mysteries, huh? Excuse me? I mean, you've been in this club for a while, right? And now the president. So you must have a penchant for this kind of stuff. Oh yeah, I've always been obsessed with unsolved cases. It's thrilling. Do you study outside cases or just local ones? Little bit of everything. I guess I like reading mystery novels too. Crimes and that kind of stuff. Well, look at her. Isn't Ember just full of surprises? She turns out to be a much more interesting person than I initially thought. We chat idly about everything until the bell rings. It is nice to get to know her, and even though this is the first time we sat down and talked in length, I hope I can tentatively call her my friend. Despite her strange attitudes and unique way of viewing the world, I can tell Ember has a kind soul. We part ways with her saying our first club meeting will be after class. Hell yeah. Yeah boy. Before I headed off to meeting, I managed to get a hold of Shizuyos. We ended up fetching Emiri together, who doesn't seem all that happy about it, but goes along anyway. I think we're heading into familiar territory now. We'll stick on the themes of Ember for now. Can I go with you, Ember? Since she was in the club last year, I might be able to glean some knowledge from her. The idea about investigating some hidden freak cases unnerves me enough as it is. I'd rather get to it as quickly as possible, then get the hell out if I can. Not beating around the bush, are we? I like that. How about you girls? I'll help Emiri then if you don't mind. Aww. I'll do this alone for now, I guess. But next time, someone gotta pair up with me, alright? Aww. Chiharu and I walk home together after the club. She seems relieved. You okay? Yeah. Same dialogue. I was really hoping that it would be a diverging dialogue just because we didn't spend time with Chiharu at lunchtime. New scene. Between school and unpacking, the weekend just pounces on me. Honestly, when Ember texted me the location of our after-school activity, I did a double take. The park? Really? And it's only 6 AM in the morning when I arrive. There's not a soul around. I sincerely hope Ember doesn't intend to show me a murder site. It's too early for that. It's like we're trying to go into a PhD before we can actually succeed in the first year. Just as I was about to call her, I can see her jogging figure approaching from beyond the trees. Ooh, punctual, I like ya. Morning. You seem confused. Well, what exactly are we doing here? Getting you acquainted with the cases, of course. Okay, can you explain... can you explain why we're here, though? Slowly. Like I'm done, because my brain doesn't really work early in the morning, so just so you know. And this is why you're such a noodle boy. You gotta put some meat on those bones, you know. I take offense to that. I walk to school every day. Uh-huh. What do you say, noodle boy? Despite her teasing, Ember is definitely in a good mood. I can't say the same. But I guess there is some appeal to this. Getting up at stupid hour for a jog, that is. Mm-hmm. I'll start the day with a few laps. Helps me think. Can I wait on the side? Don't be lazy. I hold up my hand. Fine. So I hold up my hands. There we go. Fine, I'll play a game, I guess. I just hope she won't go too crazy on me. It actually isn't as bad as I thought. Ember sets the pace pretty moderate. Enough to wind me up. Wind me up? But not wear me out. The park is peaceful at this hour. Seemingly paved with endless green. Early birds chirp sleeplessly in the nests. And the air fresh with dew. I get it. This is very zen. I thought Ember would be some kind of a crazy cardio girl, but it's nice to see her doing her exercises in an atmosphere as beautiful as this. It helps set the tone a bit. Whoa. After 3 laps around the lake, I'm a bit embarrassed to say I've run out of breath. We stop at a bench, where Ember tosses a water bottle at me. Wait, where'd you hide those things? No, wait, I better not ask that question. Whew, thanks. Especially for not running me ragged. Don't thank me. I just want to deal with you passing out somewhere, you know. Right. Whatever you say, buddy. I'm getting used to her attitudes. Taking a few gulps of water, I watch as Ember towels off her sweat. Okay, this is a bit close up. What about the research? So, what are we going to do about the research? We'll get to that. Alright? You're enthusiastic about this, I like that. But don't let it get to your head or anything. I hold up my hands in surrender, then proceed to wait as Ember refreshes herself. Lean and toned, Ember is built like an athlete, but still retains a certain feminine softness. Okay, now that her mouth isn't at work and she isn't in my face about anything else, I suddenly find myself admiring her. Okay. What you looking at? I was just waiting for you. Right. Rolling her shoulders, Ember finally takes a seat next to me. Alright, let's get into it. What do you want to know? As much as you can tell me, I guess. I haven't had the chance to do a lot of investigation about the cases. Alright. She thinks for a moment. Don't you need some documents? What's with all the wait options? Do you need some citation or any documents at all? Nah, it's all in my head. Right. I ain't gonna beat around the bush. 13 students and 2 teachers went missing last year. Only 6 bodies were found while the rest are presumed dead or still missing. The found bodies either have broken necks or what authorities deemed as falling injuries. Those were worded differently when we were in the Chihara route of this game. All the deaths were eventually ruled as suicides due to the lack of evidence. Sketchy if you ask me. Yeah, if you pin them all to the same outcome, then surely you would think that there is something sketchy going on. No further investigation? That's indeed weird. That is unnerving at the same time. We'll put to the second option. Tell me about it. Didn't help but deaths and disappearances happened around the end of school year, you know. It was a stressful time, so it was quick for them to draw conclusions. A bit too quick. Personally, I think it's gang activities and the cops were too scared to do anything about it. Authorities are soft here, you know. and they aren't doing anything to control the gangs that settled into town a couple of years back. She goes on to tell me the locations of the murder sites and how close they were to known gang-controlled areas. Ember says none of the victims really had attentive or close-by family, which also contributes to the lack of investigation. She lists off the time frame between the deaths, how quickly police closed the cases and how poorly were the cases covered. But why occult research though? If it's gang violence like you said, then there isn't anything supernatural about it, right? Well, for starters, I wasn't the one who came up with the club. The previous president was a pretty superstitious gal. She even started giving out protective charms to everyone at school. Oh really? Yeah, but my fellow club members didn't really want to look into actual evidence. They insisted it's all supernatural mojo. Guess my name's stuck. I see. It is impressive that she can remember all the details, but then again she seems to have been pouring herself over this for a long time. It'd be hard for her not to. Ember's quick explanation covers the summaries of it all, but I still have a few questions. Why do you think the school tried to snuff out the club? Ember's face hardens. We are an inconvenience, poking our noses where they aren't supposed to be. If whoever could snuff out the news, do you really think they can't bribe the school as well? What kind of inconvenience? But that is definitely a bold statement. Now we go with the second option. Folding my arms, I mull about her words for a moment. What kind of inconvenience do you guys cause? Ember shrugs, spinning the water bottle on her knee. Asking too much. Asking the wrong people. One even broke into the facility room and got caught. Wait, hold up, what? That was pretty stupid. We were the first one to go missing, was one from our school. And there wasn't any announcement or explanation, so... I see. Why does she think it's the gang's doings, though? It seemed a bit too convenient for me. I bring up a question and fully expect Ember to get annoyed, but she nods instead. It is more complicated than that, you're right. Hand on her chin, Ember frowns, deep in thought. It started a couple of years back. I'd say around 6, 7 years. Entrepreneurs and businesses started having some interest in the town, wanting to develop it into some kind of getaway spot for upper class business people. And one of those upper class business people happens to be the head of a gang or something. It was good and all, attracting a new income flow into the town, you know. But then came the thugs. They snuffed out money like flies to honey. It was messy, and nobody wanted to help. Not even the Onishi. The Onishi? How are they involved? Only the most influential family in town. They don't just do city rituals, you know. They're supposed to have a say in everything. Why not this time? Ember shrugs. Not sure. Rumour has it there is a shift in power. Anyhow, crimes escalated over time. It started with some troubled neighbourhood here and there, then thievery, gangs fighting, and now this. That's disturbing. Why the club? All the information she has given me makes my head spin. There's so much being swept under the rug, so much to adjust to. And when I finally found my footing, I just feel sick. Do you think the club can crack this? Ember turns to me, eyes searching. She lets out a sigh, brows frowning. To be honest, I'm not so sure. No, I don't think so. But I want to try. But it's dangerous. The words die in my mouth and as her troubled expression. Turning away, I twist my hands together. What have I gotten myself into? The sun begins to shine through the fog. Its warmth does nothing to lift my mood. People gradually fill the park, breaking the fragile silence that have enclosed us. Ember gestures to follow her, and we head towards the entrance. I suppose it's the end of our session, for what it's worth. I've had a lot of information, but I don't know how I should feel about it all. Scared? Paranoid? Intrigued? All of the above? None of the above. There is of course some degrees of outrage as well towards the system. How dare people, no matter their powers or positions, hide something so terrible from the public's eyes? How could they stand by and watch as lives being taken away? What kind of people run this town? What kind of danger lurks under its peaceful exterior? So this reminds me of the premises of Noel the Mortal Fate, where the entire town is presumably run by this benevolent individual, where in the actual case the run is run by a tyrant. As we approach the bus stop, however, the last question I have for Ember is none of the above. I'm just wondering. Spit it out. Well, I'm just curious. Why are you so hell-bent over keeping the club open? A friend's involved. One of the victims was one of Ember's friends. Ember, I'm so... Whatever, it's been nice seeing you. Hope you'll make it to the next meeting. She walks away without giving me a chance to say anything. Left feeling horrified slightly at myself. My travel back home is a daze. On the bus I pull out my I pull my phone out. Finger hovering over Chihara's number. I must have sat there, frozen for what it feels like an eternity. In the end I decide against it. Pocketing my phone, I lean against the window, watching the town blur by with a million thoughts swarming in my head. I feel like all of these decisions lead to the same outcome, like probably in the full game, whichever decisions that you make within the next two sequences have a major impact, but I don't feel that any of these decisions lead to anywhere concrete within the demo. Either if you pick Chihara or Ember, neither one of them will go with you towards the storage room. It really is gated by just Emiri and Shizuyos, and with both of them you have the option to peek. I'm pretty sure this decision to join her is only accessible in the full game, because I've been through Chihara's route in my spare time between the last episode and now quite a few times and made a lot of different decisions, but they all orbiting basically around Chihara's route, and there's nothing in mind that I can think of that allows us to join her within the cooking club. So I imagine it's either one of two things. Number one, it is an incredibly specific set of choices you need to make along this route, or secondly, there needs to be a set of choices that I'll make within Ember's route, which acts as like a repellent away from Ember and allows us to gain closer to Chihara. So that's just my prediction there at the time being. There are a set of choices which can actually block you out from being able to go with Ember. So firstly you would have to pick decline, then ask to wait, and then declining her offer for lunch too. And then once we get to the class, if you selected both three choices, then Ember will be locked out from being able to be chosen at this point in time. And there's also a way to get Shizuyos locked out as well, but we'll get to that in a little bit of time. Emiri. Oh my goodness sakes, I did not mean to... The skip mode, because unread means unread, if you get what I mean. So Emiri, let's pick the second time around. I glance over at Emiri. Chihara said the Elder Onishi is the head shrine maiden / priestess of this town. If the cases are indeed as mysterious as Ember said, then Emiri would probably be the most knowledgeable about all this. Maybe if I can improve her mood a little, she would be willing to fill me in. I'll go with Emiri. And what's with that face for Shizuyos? Alright, how about you girls? I'll help you out then, Ember, if you don't mind. Aww. Whereas, why is Shizuyos always the one that's singled out here? I'll do this alone for now, I guess, but next time someone gotta pair up with me, alright? No, wait, when we selected Chiharu, Ember and Shizuyos paired up. Because I remember Emily saying that she prefers to do things alone anyways. Library, it looks like. Between school and unpacking, the weekend just pounces on me. Honestly, the prospect of walking with Emily unnerves me a little. So I make sure to wake up early even though it's Saturday morning. We had agreed to meet up at the library on Saturday. I find her sitting at the exact spot she said she would be, barricaded away from the world behind rows and rows of books. Even though the school is locked on weekends, she apparently has a spare key and has gracefully left the door open for me. You're already working hard, huh? When did you get here? There's no response to my questions. Awkwardly, I shuffle over and read the notes over her shoulder. Funny enough, Emily is working with old newspapers, even though she does check the surrounding books references from time to time. She's quiet, but scours the articles like a machine, despite having initial grievance about joining the club. It's obvious Emily is taking things as seriously as one of her classes. The notes in her handwriting are crisp and clear, just like her personality. She's marking down names and time frames, with additional notes underneath each section. Do you need help? I feel like we'll just peer off if we say that, so we'll just let time flow. From my previous experience, it seems like Emily is one of those people who doesn't want to be disturbed, so I kept my mouth shut, but try to be as helpful as I can be without communicating with her. Briefly, I wonder if the local myth my grandpa used to tell me when I was a kid was documented somewhere in Emiri's pile. I hand her the books she reaches for, and put back those she discards. I end up marching up and down the aisles, so much that I am sure I have known the sections like the back of my hand. 1 freckle, 2 freckles, 3 freckles, science, mythology, and history. The books are usually from odd sections like mythology and even Western history, but I didn't dare ask why. Strangely enough, Emily's notes haven't grown much despite her tireless research. Before I knew it, it was noon already. Do you want to go grab lunch before we continue? As if she just noticed me being here, Emily's head snaps up. Lunch would be good. I prefer to eat here though. Finally some words, and here I thought I've been working with a doll all this time. You could literally compare her with a doll. I'm not gonna lie. That's fine. I can run out and grab us a lunchbox or something. You have any preference? None. Well, that gives me an awful lot of work with. I found a fast food restaurant near the school and decided to get some burgers for both of us. I feel like for some odd reason I think she wouldn't like one of us. I pick up a few cups of fruit mousse too, just so that we have some snacks later. To my surprise, I come back to Emiri sitting outside on the steps leading to the library. A book in her lap, she looks more her age and especially radiant in the sunshine. Are you trying to, oh, I forgot word. You're trying to compliment her, that's the one. I'm back! I offered her the food, thanking me. Emily ignores the burger and goes straight for the mousse cups. You're not hungry? I don't like burgers. You said you didn't have a preference, so we went for the first thing that we thought of. If you say you did... Anyway, there's thousands of different foods. I mean, how the hell can we bottle down that she doesn't like burgers if she says she doesn't have a preference? Outline the preferences that are nearby the school. Anyways. Oh, sorry, I didn't know. You want me to go get something else? No, this will suffice. Well, at least we got the mousse cups as well. She said that, but I'm still feeling guilty for not giving her proper food. But then again, Emiri isn't the type to go along with something if it displeases her. I can't help but steal a glance. Who knew cranky and elegant Emiri Onishi had a sweet tooth? She has already finished the first cup and is opening the second one. I hide my smile behind the burger and decide to push my luck. Excuse me. You must be starving by now. Yeah, let's get away from the conversation of the research and just go on about anything that's off topic. Oh, there's a lot of work to do. Most information is scattered or unclear. Success! She responds! This doll has a heartbeat to her. You seem to have done this kind of research a lot. As the head shrine maiden of the Onishi clan, that much is expected of me. I must know the enemy that awaits me. Plunging into the unknown is pure suicidal. Huh? What is she talking about? Ah, that's right, Chihara did say. So, you think those instances really have supernatural ties to them? Anything is possible in my world. What do you mean your world? This is everyone's world. Unless you're thinking of your own imagination, that is. The cryptic answer sinks in our conversation. Yeah. I owe you an apology. I have been stressed out, but that's not an excuse to take it out on you. That was unexpected. Yeah. Wait, this doll actually apologizes? This doll has feelings? We shouldn't compare it to a doll. It's harsh of me to do that. Oh, it's alright, Emiri. You must have a lot of burdens on your shoulders. Her hands still. Oh no, have I crossed the line? The chief priestess of each Onishi generation is tasked with the greatest responsibility of keeping the town safe. A shrine maiden is trained in exorcism at a young age, and this art is very exhausting on the body and mind. Even if it is only tradition, the family takes it very seriously. There is absolutely no room for mistakes. I wonder what would happen if the next generation could only give birth to males. Okay. In the past, the people of my shrine rarely had to deal with supernatural threats, which usually turned out to be freak accidents like car crashes and house fires if unsolved. But I'm expected to be prepared all the same. I suppose you can say I'm not, or can't be, a carefree young student like I should be. I'm not sure what to say. Would comforting her right now be appropriate? Emiri suddenly looks straight at me. I shiver. Her stare is so intense, like she is gazing into my soul. The equivalent of a ghost. Look at those eyes. Look how devoid of life those eyes are. Perhaps I sounded strange, but do you believe me when I say supernatural happenings are real? I don't, but I know you might have heard this a lot, but I don't think I can believe in something I've never seen before. Not something that's on a monitor screen, that is. Because anything is possible on a monitor screen, on a phone screen, in fiction, in the digital archives. That being said, I don't think you're weird. Everyone is entitled to their belief after all. That's reasonable. We finished the rest of our food before heading back inside. I'm glad I was able to have a conversation with her, though. It cleared the animosity that seems to follow Emiri everywhere and gives me some insights about her upbringing. Even though I never got to read her notes, judging by the way Emiri has been slaving herself over this, I don't doubt there will be a lot of information to show the rest of the club on Monday. Emiri! Fine, let's get this over with. If you say so, friend. I end up following her to the storage room. Oh, this brings back some nightmares. Considering what we just discussed back in the classroom, the school's after-hour quietness is a bit eerie. There are other club activities, of course, but it's far from the normal buzzing I'm used to. Ember wasn't kidding. They really need someone to sort out the mess in this room. I look over the pile of boxes on the floor, scratching my head. Note that the shelves are not that the shelves are any better. Boxes, files, and even some cleaning products are jammed together, most dusty and cobweb infested. Worse, from what I can see, the majority of them don't have any kind of label on. The lack of navigation is explosive. Where do we even begin? It's there. I follow her eyes as a box peeking out at the very top of the back shelf. Squinting, I can just make out the scribbled words on the front. Occult Research Club. How did you... Emiri was the one that put it there, but... I said this last time, and I don't know why I said it. Emiri must have a good eye for things, honestly. But for goodness sakes, how did she manage to get that almost immediately? Never mind. I fetch the ladder and set it up. It's rusty with age and wobbles dangerously when I give it an experimental shake. Look at all those rugby balls, as the American calls it, American football. Great. Do you mind holding it? I'll climb up and... It won't hold. Huh? I'm lighter. Wait, are you saying we're fat? How dare you call us fat? You hold the ladder. Yeah, but you're also wearing a skirt. Then again, Emiri probably isn't someone who would care about that, strange as it sounds. I can only imagine the fuss Chihiro would kick up in a similar situation. Nodding, I relent and brace the ladder for Emiri. Of course, Emiri doesn't even hesitate climbing the creaky piece of metal. Out of the corner of my eye, I see her skirt flutters with every step. Let's let the timer run out. We've already looked at both cases, but what about time running out? I have the box! Alright, now just be... At her first step backward, the ladder trembles. Emiri stills. With all my might to try to force the ladder to stop shaking, but it's too late. With a groan, the thing collapses, sending Emiri crashing onto me! Ack! Yes, I flail. Blushing crimson when I feel the softness of her body pushing against mine, but Emiri doesn't seem at all bothered. She picks herself up as she only tripped over a rock without any feelings whatsoever, and gathers the scattered stuff without a word. Speechless, I could only stare as she leaves the storage. Emiri really is something else. Quite oblivious, if I must say so myself. The conversation my parents had deeply troubles me, not just because of how sudden and out of nowhere Grandpa's death came, but also because of Emiri's hint back at the club. I've been tempted to catch Emiri in between classes to have a chat about it, but never managed to, As Chihiro had said, Emiri's schedule seemed to be packed to the brim. She's always the first to show up in class and the first to leave. Sometimes she even leaves in the middle of a lecture. It seems like I'd be more likely to see Emiri at the shrine rather than at school. That does seem like the case, I'm not gonna lie. It's a bit weird though, seeking someone out like this. The topic I want to speak about is even more discomforting. Part of me doesn't want to think about it. The other part is both wondering about the possibilities out of a sense of duty and a morbid curiosity. Nevertheless, I find myself heading to the shrine after school one day, deeply questioning myself after I have climbed up all those winding stairs. Staring at the ancient and imposing landmark that made Komachi, I want to turn around and walk away. The memory of my childhood, coupling with the reason why I come here, is almost too much to bear. But then I spot a flicker of white hair heading out from the back house, biting the inside of my cheeks. I wave at the one and only Emiri Onishi. Hey Emiri! Good afternoon, Flare. What brings you to the Onishi shrine? Straight to business, huh? I can't help but wince a little as I walk over. Impassive, Emiri stands still, waiting for me to answer her question. I was just, If there is something you need, please speak up. I have duties to tend to. Sorry, I didn't mean to waste your time. And yet here you are. Something glints in her eyes. Wait, was that a joke? Or was it Emiri telling me to get the hell off of her property? Once again, I'm leaning towards the latter. It's nothing important really. I was just thinking about my grandpa. Oh. Did he come here when you were young? Yes, my grandpa used to take Chiharu and I here for the spring and summer rituals. I see. Have you come to Remisice then? Looking at a rustling range of trees, the shrine's swooping architecture, and breathing in the fresh mountainous air, I feel the corners of my eyes sting. When was the last time we came here? Grandpa, me and Chiharu. It's been so long ago. The memories somehow are both faded and such powerful marks in my mind. A little, yes. Is there anything else you want then, or should I leave you alone? Ask. Push the matter forward. Sucking in a breath, I square my shoulders. I have dragged myself all the way here. The worst Emiri can do is to not answer me, or confirm whatever she hinted at was true. Either way, there's no reason to chicken out now. I at least owe it to the memories of my grandpa. Emiri, back at the club, you said there was a surge of deaths around and before the cases last year. Yes, it was quite unnatural how it happened. Did you manage to investigate anything? No. I do regret not doing so, however. I simply don't have the time to. The shrine was asked to perform some cleansing and burial rituals. At that point in time, I was too new to my new role as chief priestess to catch up to all the information given to me. Thus, I was not able to act accordingly. By the gods, so she was already chief priestess by the age of 16? Just how Emiri handles all those responsibilities and stays on top of schoolwork is beyond me. Clearing my throat, I try to redirect my train of thoughts back to the matter at hand. Do you think they are related to the cases we are working at? I did say it was a possibility, but it would be difficult to prove that to anyone, even if my suspicion is true. Even if you could, would you? Emiri regards me coolly. No. That's what I thought. Still doesn't answer what I really want to know, though. Mom said that his passing was very unexpected. He didn't have any family history of heart failure. No indication that he might suffer from such a complication. He never skipped any health checkups, and Mom was always informed of his bi-monthly appointments. So you think your grandfather might be a possible case? If the case I presented is true? I wouldn't know. I'm not the one who is well versed in the spiritual arts. So you are a believer now? Right now, all I have are assumptions. I do not have the answer you are looking for, but I will tell you this. Anything is possible when an unknown entity is thrown into the equation. Then why? Why did you say what you said, talking about the possibility of it, then asking me if it sounds familiar? Ah, so that's what's been bothering you. This girl's impossible. Top tip, guys, girls are. How could it not? Emiri, this is my grandpa we're talking about, and you were implying that he might have been harmed by some sicko who's been committing horrible crimes around town, or worse, some kind of evil spirit. Emiri doesn't seem at all fazed by my outburst. If anything, her eyes turn even colder. You truly have no idea what you are talking about, do you? Well, it seems you've got some better ideas, but yet since you're so enclosed, all that knowledge is just gonna wither away without any inspiration. Of course I don't. This isn't at all what I expected when I moved back here. And how did you know about my grandpa's passing circumstance anyways? She doesn't answer me right away. Emiri inclines her head, studying me with the same expressionlessness that's starting to drive me crazy. But there is an underlying pity in her eyes, something that both pees me off more and makes me want to look away in frustrated shame. People talk in Komachi, Flare. They talk, but only to the one who they believe would protect them, and only when they think no one is listening. Now that you are here, there isn't much you can do, but keep the ones most important to you close. Her words strike a deep, unsettling chord within me. Suddenly I feel cold, staring into Emiri's frosted eyes. It's late. If her sister swapped eyes with her, she would literally be a demon. Like, secretly a shrine maiden that's actually a demon, because in her nature she really is one. Have a good night. Flare? What? Is that meant to be a thinking process from Emiri? I think there might be either that is something that Emiri is thinking, or that something that Emiri said, but it didn't headline that Emiri said it. If we select decline, then Shizuyos will be blocked out from being a person that we can choose to hang out with. From decline rather than saying actually, it blocks off our option of being able to select her as a friend to hang out with. But obviously we want to do that now because she's the only one that is left to be explored in this Let's Play. Shizuyos. I think I'll go with Shizuyos. Alright, we'll make the best team, you and I. Her cheerfulness is why I picked her. Since she lives here, Shizuyos at least would know about the cases. Alright, how about you girls? I'll help you out then, Ember, if we don't mind. Emiri, you'll be fine on your own then? I prefer it that way. I feel a little bad for not going with Chihiro, but there's no point since both of us are clueless about all of this. I can always fill her in later with my findings. That is a good thing actually, that both me and Chihiro are going with different people. People that are more aware of the local, more recent happenings that have happened around the town. Rather than both of us going together without having a clue of what's going on. Well, this definitely is different. Between school and unpacking, the weekend just pounces on me. I didn't get much of a chance to chat with Shizuyos at school, and I honestly thought she'd forgotten about the club activity. That was until I received a text message on Friday. I was about to say test message. Hey, Flare, grin face. Don't think I forgot about our thing. Please stay up late on Saturday night, okay? I'll give you the details then. See ya. Cat face, love heart. Aww. That really didn't inspire much confidence. Chihiro did tell me she's one of the Oishi, and that the family is in charge of the great shrine in town. Shizuyos probably has a lot of duties to perform. I can't exactly expect her to give me a wall of text explaining what we're doing. Still, it'd be nice to know rather than being left in the dark. As in dark as in nighttime. Oh dear. As per her request, I stay up on Saturday night playing video games to kill time. The clock ticks by slowly. 9 PM, then 10, then 11. By 12:30 AM, I'm about to give up when my phone buzzes. Look out the window! What? I scramble to my feet. Sure enough, Shizuyos is standing across the street, waving up at me enthusiastically. My jaw unhinges. After throwing on a warm coat and checking if the lights in the master bedroom are off, I hurry outside. You made it! What do you mean I made it? What are you doing here? Why, investigating, of course. Don't tell me you have forgotten our study date. Her pout leaves me flabbergasted. Her cackling laughter makes my head spin. I'm joking, sheesh, look at you. Come, the night is still young. Still at a loss for words, I follow Shizuyos mutely. It is safe to say I'm even more confused when we reach the school. I don't think the library is open at this hour. Unless, of course, her sister is secretly doing some research inside the school at this hour. Well, duh, come on. Shizuyos grabs my hand and pulls me to the back. The wall isn't too high here, and there's a decorative rock. Shizuyos, that's a monument. Potato patala, it's enough to scale the wall. Wait, what? But Shizuyos has already gone. Panicking, I follow suit. Heart hammering in my chest. Shizuyos, what are you thinking? Shh, we're gonna get caught if you keep being so loud. I wasn't the one who decided to commit a heist in the middle of the night, but the process dies in my throat as she pulls me along. Helpless and scared to death that we might be found out, I bite my tongue when we stop before the facility room. With a grin that makes her teeth sparkle in the darkness, Shizuyos pulls out a kit hidden in her sleeve and proceeds to pick a lock. You have a lock-picking set in your sleeve? Who doesn't? No, who does, honestly? Do you know the dangers lurking out there? You get yourself into some pretty weird fantasies, Shizuyos. I like you. Somehow you and helpless don't seem to fit in one sentence. Shizuyos has the office open in record time. Carefully closing the door behind us, she uses her phone's flashlight to illuminate the place. Why the facility room? Because it's the best room. You have tried to research cases, yes? Taken aback by her sudden change of tone, I blink. Yes, I did search for them online, but there wasn't a lot to read. Don't you think that's a bit shady? I was hoping you could tell me more. So do I. Shizuyos periodically shines her torch down a filing cabinet, opening drawers and quickly skimming through the markers. Her practiced movements suggest that she has done something like this before. Huh. Flare, come here. Shizuyos spreads out a folder onto the teacher's desk. So here's the list of students who went missing or died. You probably saw the list online somewhere already, right? Yeah, 13 students and 2 teachers went missing last year. Only 6 bodies were found while the rest are presumed dead or still missing. 5 students and a teacher were from the same school as us, and the rest were from middle school with the exception of someone from a nearby college. Correct! Here are the names. Interesting enough, just before these incidences, some of these students attempted to transfer away. What? Okay, so that's a bit of new information that we didn't get beforehand. That's a new kind of catalyst within the mix. They were trying to transfer away, but yet they were unknowingly killed or disappeared. What? Right before the exams? Weren't they all seniors? Shifty, isn't it? Shifty, sorry, isn't it? Of course, our unfortunate cases were refused or were having the board's decision pending. Shizuyos produces another folder, flipping through the pages and checking the dates. There are some other cases who applied for transfer and succeeded. Let me guess, they aren't in the victim list. Correct. You're quite good at this detective thing, aren't you? No matter how you look at this, it's suspicious. I remember the school not giving much of an explanation last year. The college made much more of a fuss. There were search parties and everything. That's worrisome. It's almost like they didn't care about the students at all. What about the other schools? I don't recall. Now that you ask, maybe the college student is from a prominent family. Maybe. But that's no excuse for the other facilities. Absolutely, but unfortunately we can't get our hands on the other files. Shizuyos is right. We can only make do with what we currently have. Let's check out the other drawers. Flare, come give me a hand. I'm not as adept as Shizuyos in terms of shifting through places I'm not supposed to, so I'm a bit slow checking the files. On the other hand, despite being upset earlier with the information we found, Shizuyos seems to have regained her chipper mood. I have to say, this is quite exciting, isn't it? Sure, if you call breaking and entering exciting. Now, don't be a sourpuss. This beats shuffling through newspaper archives or the library any day. Right. Don't be like my sister now. I thought you were much more fun than this. The mention of her sister has me shaking my head. Who would have thought of you of all people have the audacity to break into the facility room in the middle of the night? I'm going to take that as a compliment. And if you think I'm anything like my sister, you're dead wrong. I blink at her sudden change of mood. I never thought you were like your sister. They're literally the definition of a duality. I never thought you were like your sister. I just thought, you know, since you're from a prestigious family, you'd be a bit more... At a loss for words, I gesture my hands helplessly. The stony look Shizuyos is giving me makes my stomach stink. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to offend you, right? Oh man, look at your face! Ha! She's going to get us busted with how loud she's being. Don't sweat it, but no, I'm not a decorative vase. I mean, I am pretty, but I'm not like my sister. At least I know how to enjoy life. I'm getting whiplash from a mood change. We continue rummaging through the cabinets. I feel a bit bad for judging her earlier, though Shizuyos is right. She and Emiri behave completely different from one another despite the physical resemblance. I meant what I said though. I'm sorry, Shizuyos. You really are a nice guy, aren't you? Don't worry about it. I'm used to the comparison. That must be annoying. Yeah, shrugs. We might be twins, but Emiri is the firstborn. She'll soon be head of the Onishi clan. It's natural for people to compare us. But that doesn't make it right. Shizuyos shrugs again, moving to a different cabinet and turning her back at me. Truly, I don't mind it. With my sister being in charge, there's not a lot of expectations for me. I can be carefree and, you know, live my life like an ordinary schoolgirl. Well, I guess that's not too bad. Shizuyos doesn't answer me at first, but when she does, her mood has once again changed. Speaking of schoolgirl, hey Flare, do you have a girlfriend? Seriously, this girl needs to stop catching me off guard like that. No, there's nobody. No. Why'd you ask? No reason, just curious, that's all. What do you mean by curious? For I must say, a nice guy like you being single is quite the shocker. It's not that surprising, I'd say, but thank you though. It means a lot coming from such a nice girl. Sheesh, look at you, Mr. Smooth. Don't you know it's rude to get a girl's hopes up? Get a girl's hype up. I suppose that's not too far from the truth, though. I didn't mean... Of course you didn't. Now, hurry up with those files. I don't have all night. Once again, I'm unable to keep up with her rapid mood changes. With a long sigh, I go back to flipping through the cabinets, but there seems to be an endless amount of files, from students, overall score, to school construction plans. Don't we have some kind of digital system? This is just unnecessary. Tell me about it. Wait. Shizuyo walks over to the table, bringing a folder with her. She flips through the pages full of the dates. Huh, look at this. The paper she shows me details the school's official responses to the incidences and other notes. All of them are very brief, avoiding any responsibility pushed to them. The last note, however, catches my attention. Due to the nature of these incidences, it is in our best interest to keep quiet in order to not affect next year's enrollment numbers. No further evidence or statement should be provided to the press. That's disgusting. You don't say. Stacking all the files together, Shizuyos heaves out a sigh. Regardless, there's not a lot that we found. Ugh. We should clean up and get out of here before we got busted. Alright. Yeah, because surely there's a night guard around here. Scaling the walls doesn't bother me as much as it did. With all these thoughts in my head, the information we found is unsettling, and the pale, cold streetlights don't lift the mood at all. Shizuyos wears a frown. Her eyes far away, contrary to her early cheerfulness. Shizuyos seems deeply troubled now. You doing okay? Our footsteps sound incredibly loud in the night. The wind leaves goosebumps on my skin. Despite the school being shut, that background portrait does look like it's closed. Open, rather than being closed. Shizuyos doesn't say a word, she just keeps on walking. Even though we have walked past the turn to my house, I follow her. It's late at night and I don't want her to have to walk home alone, as brazen as she is. Suddenly Shizuyos stops at a crossroad. Sorry. I just spaced out. The shrine isn't too far from here. I can walk back on my own. Thanks for company though. Are you sure? I don't mind walking a bit further. I'll be okay, Flare. Yeah? Listen to me and remember this. Don't trust everything people tell you, okay? Believe in you. Shizuyos, what? Alright, I'll be off now. Good night, Flare. I watch until she makes a turn and out of sight. Strange girl. Scratching my head, I begin my journey home while scrolling through some messages. My mind is somewhere else, however. What Shizuyos sends to me nags at the back of my head, adding to the list of odd things tonight. Though, I kept having this feeling that I'm missing something. That something isn't quite right, but I can't put my fingers on it. Oh, hold on. Yeah! Shizuyos! We can't quick save. Shizuyos! I run as fast as I can to where the scream came from, and skidding to a stop, I stare into a dark alleyway with horror. A giant of a man is on top of Shizuyos, pinning her to the ground and locking her wrists above the head. Help! Oh my gosh! Tackle the man! Ah! Oh. Without thinking, I charge into him. My sudden collision throws him off balance, but enough to catch him off guard. A fist slams as my adamant, knocking the air out of my lungs, wheezing. I stagger aside, but stubbornly hold on to his arm. Shizuyos, run! Shizuyos scurries out from underneath him, backing away against the alleyway wall, fear in her eyes. Look out! Before I could react, the man punches me right in the forehead. Disorientated, I slump down, my vision blurring. The man towers above me. The last thing I heard was Shizuyos' hysterical screaming. And then darkness. Death? End? There's an end in the midway point of the game? What do you mean back to title? I want to retry. I want to throw something at this dude. I think waiting around would just resort to the same thing happening again. Throw something at the man. Heart hammering in my chest, I act without thinking. I pick up a pebble and throw it at him. A pebble? Maybe a rock? Hey, leave her alone. Run home, little boy. I square my feet, hands balled up into fists. I said, leave her alone. Yeah, what are you gonna do? Scream? No one is coming. Leave before you regret it. Teeth gritting, I grab a rock. That sounds more like it and chuck it at his head. Now you've done it, boy. You and the little blank are... Ah! Apparently I'm distracted enough for Shizuyos to knee him in the crotch. Yikes. Cursing, the man rolls to the side, letting go of her hands. Shizuyos scrambles to her feet and runs towards me, pulling me with her. Let's go. With her hand in mine, we run without knowing where we're going. Somehow when we stop for a breather, it is my house we stand in front of. Huh. Guess I ran here first without thinking. Ugh. I can't send you home like this. Who knows if a guy's still lurking around somewhere. Can you call someone to pick you up? Emiri would kill me if she finds out. I can't call her. I won't ever be able to leave my house again. Aww. But this situation is very, very drastic. Somehow the suggestion makes her panic even more, scratching my head. I sigh. Shizuyos, you can stay here for the night. I mean, if you want to, that is. That would be embarrassing, but I really don't want to run back either. And it's late. Honestly, I won't mind staying up all night, then we can sneak out early in the morning. That way it won't be too embarrassing. Alright. Thank you. And sorry for getting you into all this trouble. That's what friends are for, though. Well, yeah, it's kind of her fault that we ran out at this hour in the first place, but I sigh again and escort her inside. Thankfully, my parents are deep sleepers. In spite of our sneaking around, they still snore away peacefully. I shake my head at their obliviousness. But it's a blessing in this case. But I wonder what would happen if they just saw us two. Thoughts ponder into the head. I gave Shizuyos the bed and pull out a futon for myself. The silence is a bit awkward, but it's still relieving after what we just ran away from. Even though I said I was going to stay up the whole night with her, I was exhausted. I fell asleep without meaning to. Interesting. When I woke up in the morning, Shizuyos is already gone. On my desk there's a scribbled note. Thanks for everything, Flare. I'll be heading home now. See you at school. Love, Heart. Does she do that to everyone she meets? And we fall into a more regular rhythm. Shizuyos, the only one left. Okay, let's see what we've got. We walk together to the storage room, chatting amicably about schoolwork. Considering what we've just discussed back in the classroom, the school's after-hour quietness is a bit eerie. There are other club activities, of course, but it's far from the normal buzzing that I'm used to. It seems like Shizuyos feels the same, and uses the nonsensical chat to distract ourselves. I'm a bit grateful that she agreed to go with me. Ember wasn't kidding. They really need someone to sort out the mess in this room. I look over the pile of boxes on the floor, scratching my head. Not that the shelves are any better. I wonder if this is Emiri's first time actually coming in here. I know that Shizuyos with us, but if she was able to spot out the boxes right away, then does that mean that this wasn't her first time coming in here when we was deciding to be with her rather than Shizuyos? Boxes, files, and even some clean products are jammed together, most dusty and cobweb infested. Worse, from what I can see, the majority of them don't have any kind of labels on. Where do we even begin? Dunno, but I suggest we get to work. Ah, Ember said but the box is labelled, so we should be able to know which one it is without having to open every box. Ah, now you just take away all the fun. What do you mean all the fun? Are you an expert in snooping around? We step inside. Not only is it dusty, the light doesn't seem to work either. Great, guess we have to leave the door open. Well, it can't get any worse. Yeah, exactly, it can't get any worse than solid rock bottom with Shizuyos. Nah, it can't be that bad with Shizuyos. We stand over the boxes on the floor trying to look for label or some indication of what we need. Shizuyos looks up and down the place, nose wrinkling. I'm never going to get the dust off of my hair. Maybe try putting it up in a ponytail, sorry? Good idea. I do have a scrunchie? I don't know that word. She pats across. I was about to say pats across. She pats around her skirt pockets. And it's probably in my bag. Yep, dusty hair it is. We proceed to shuffle around the boxes on the ground, pushing the labelled ones to the side while skimming through the contents of unlabelled ones for good measures. Well, I guess we're doing the school a service. Ugh, free labour is a crime, you know. We kind of signed up for it. Not for cleaning up. She does have a point, but you know, there are a lot of more fun things you can do in such a dark, unsupervised room. Like what, for example, Shizuyos? Her teasing comment makes me inhale a lungful of dust. Coughing to her ticketing laughter, I glare at Shizuyos through a veil of tears. What the hell, Shizuyos? It's not my fault your mind goes straight to the gutter. It's your fault for coming up with a comment in the first place that allows one to go into the gutter in the first place. Shaking my head, I turn away using the excuse of looking through the boxes to hide my flaming cheeks. This girl really is a handful, isn't she? After another few minutes of shuffling around, it is most definite that the item we're looking for is nowhere near reachable. Are you kidding me? So I got dirty for nothing? I thought you liked getting dirty. I'm joking. Deciding to not comment on her choice of words exactly. I look for a means to climb up to the higher shelves. We probably shouldn't be stupid and try climbing the shelves itself. They might topple over. There's a ladder in the corner of the room, but upon inspection, all the hinges seem to be rusting. It seems to be unstable as a whole. We are going to be using the ladder for reasons. I feel like it would be safer rather than boosting somebody. There's a ladder we can use. What other choice do we have? I drag it out and let it up by the tallest shelves. Shizuyos gives it an experimental shake. It's unstable. It's not going to hold your weight. I'll have to climb. Are you going to be okay climbing it? Well, if you steady it for me. Alright. Holding the ladder with both hands, I square my stance waiting for Shizuyos. She takes one tentative step up. The ladder shudders, but otherwise stays upright. Alright, here I go. Slowly, Shizuyos inches up the piece of creaky metal. Her skirt fluttering with every step. So we can't choose to peek. Let's wait it out. Well, it happens anyways. Whoa. After a particularly violent shake, my head snaps up on reflex. Ooh. Long, slender legs spew my vision, traveling up and up to a flash of black lace. Aww. Feeling my entire body heating up, I immediately look down, but the image has already burned into my mind. Shizuyos wears lingerage under her uniform. I think I have the box. Great, you want me to take it? Yeah, I'm just gonna hand you the box, okay? And why are you all flushing down there? Alright, just be careful. As Shizuyos shifts around, the ladders gives a heart-stopping squeal and gives out. We both scream. Yeah, Shizuyos falls backward with arms flailing and hitting me in the face with her back. Thrown off balance, we both stumble into a jumble of boxes, which trips me over and pushes Shizuyos into the shelves. Everything coming crashing down around us. It's a dominoes effect, I tell you. Oh my. Oh. Shizuyos. There is a long gash on her leg, not deep enough to require stitching, but definitely bleeding. Looking around, there doesn't seem to be a first aid kit anywhere in here. Surprise. I think you have to clean the wound. She's right, it's dusty as hell in here, and even without light, I know some has already settled on the blood, if not washed out. She might get an infection. There's no water here. Excuse me? What sort of mindset do you have, Shizuyos, to go to that option as the first suggestion? To even contemplate? We barely know one another, but yet you're suggesting me to lick it. Sorry, I coughed there, and I should have covered my mouth as well. Oh god, this is going to be cringy. Helping Shizuyos into a more comfortable position, I carefully wrap my hands around her ankle and above her knees. My heart thunders in my chest so loud I'm afraid Shizuyos might have heard it. This might sting a little. Shizuyos screws her eyes shut. I took a deep breath and dived. Oh, dearie me. Yeah. Consciously, my mind registers how smooth and cool her skin is under the blistering heat of my fingers. The taste of copper touches the tip of my tongue, and I carefully drag along the length of her cut. Once, twice, and a third time, just to be certain. Thanks. I actually didn't think you would do it. If you just close your eyes and just read out the dialogue, it might make you imagine something else rather than just licking a wound. I let go of her leg as if it was made of hot iron, flustered. Sorry. No, it's fine. It's my idea after all. I mean, oh hey, it's the box. Not sure if she said that only to change the topic or not. I'll follow her gesturing finger lying around the scattering junk almost too innocently as the club's box. What do you mean you fetch the box before helping Shizuyos up? Shizuyos would be the first priority to help up, and then the box afterwards. Alright, let's get you patched up and get back to the classroom. Hopefully Emiri will not comment about it, although knowing these dialogues it is all the same to all of us. I believe in the game it is scripted, for the demo at least, to only show the horrific ending that we saw at the end of the last video once, and always have this outcome happen every other time you proceed to the end of the game. Which I have a little bit of a concern about, because there's a lack of requirements to be able to get to this point, along with a lack of requirements to be able to get to the ending that we saw at the previous video. So it does make me wonder about how the full game is going to be expanded upon. Will each of these have different requirements? Let's say, for example, if we chose options to irritate a particular character, namely Emiri, then wouldn't the manifestation that unfortunately brought about Chihara's demise come sooner? Or would it be a basis of time in which how fast can we read a particular scenario as to how the dialogue goes about. So let's say, for example, we look around her house, can't find her, then go to her room, can't find her. But all the while we're reading the dialogue like we're doing right now, does the amount of time taken to read all that is a condition for allowing Chiharu to survive, or unfortunately allowing Chiharu to have an unfortunate demise? But saying that, any demise is unfortunate. Kneeling on the floor was a terrified Chiharu. Her hair is tousled and her knuckles are bruised. So, looking at the scenario, she was forcibly shut in. Like, she was looking in this room, she heard somebody or anything like that, and then somebody else must have shut the door and locked it, or broken the lock on it, disallowing Chiharu to be able to escape. Kneeling on the floor was a terrified Chiharu. Her air... Oh, I've already read that, actually. Chiharu! Flare, thank God! Boundaries thrown out the window as I hug her, simply glad that she is in one piece. Chiharu, what happened? You scared the living hell out of me. I don't know. Oh gosh, I don't know, Flare. I heard someone calling for help, and I came to help. When I went inside, when I went inside, the door it just slammed itself shut. It just slammed shut, sorry. I was screaming and banging on the door, but nobody came. Chiharu breaks down into hysterical sobs. I hug her close, but also help her up. Her story deeply disturbs me. I truly don't want to be in this room any longer, and I'm sure Chiharu feels the same. But the clouds and the school... No, the clouds and the background were totally different. Almost like we just were sucked into another dimension. On our way out, I got a glimpse of the door handle on the inside. It looks melted, mangled beyond recognition. Swallowing, I hurry my steps. Tomorrow I'll let someone know about this. Right now, I just want to get the hell out of here with Chiharu. To be continued. Thank you for playing the demo. And thank you so much to Fluttering Abyss for making this experience. I understand that the team was making this game over the course of 3 years? And you can tell that there's a lot of quality that has gone into the game itself. Like, some games I played, they have a rushed feeling. Like, the UI feels incomplete or feels rushed. But with all of this, it feels like a lot of things have been very meticulously put together, including the story itself. So, I definitely recommend this to anybody who loves a mysterious horror visual novel. Though I would say that to make certain choices more meaningful, it would be nice to see a little bit of a dialogue change in all the times where, let's say, we're continuing with the main parts of a game rather than being diverged onto, let's say, a character-specific choice, such as choosing Chiharu to go then to her house, then to the graveyard, or let's say with Shizuyos, where we're waiting for the night to come, then going to the school. Like, I'm talking about the times where it doesn't matter what choice you have, there's always a bit of dialogue that happens in between those specific events, which makes up the main branch of the story. So it doesn't matter what branch you take off into the demo, it always leads back to the same set of dialogue, and mainly it's with Chiharu, or it's with Ember and Shizuyos in the, I would say, the second half of the game, where you either have the choice of going home, catching up with Shizuyos, or staying behind with Ember. But I really love this demo. It feels much more polished than other visual novels I've played, and don't get me wrong, I've played a lot of visual novels throughout the years, and By no means is any one of them particularly bad, but this is definitely in the upper 50% proportion of the visual novels that I like because the story is very intriguing, and B, it has a set of characters which are all quite different, but at the same time having a common likeness towards the paranormal, the occult and stuff like that. Well, probably minus Shiharu for this point in time because she doesn't like the occult, but she is willing to stick around for the occult because her newfound friend of Ember is a person that she really admires. But thank you all so much for watching, guys. Thank you so much to the developers for making this game. I wish you all of the absolute best when it comes to the game's development, along with the Kickstarter, which I've put a link down in the description below for anybody to check out. And if you have even just a few pounds in your pocket, it goes a long way towards the development of the game. And I've heard it's doing quite well. Like, it's only been about 2 days now, and they're already a quarter of a way through, and they've still got about a month left to be able to get the minimal requirement completed. So, congrats to you. You thoroughly deserve it, Fluttering Abyss. So, thank you all so much for watching, folks. This has been Missing Time, but there's just one more thing that I'd like to check out. Okay, so we've got bottle watered Ember. Then we have Emiri in that position. Then we have Shikio in... I've forgotten her name now. Shizuyo in that position. And then we have the ending that we first found in the game, like this. Now, the only thing I said, like I said earlier, is what are the conditions to get this aside? Well, what are the conditions to get this that separates it away from the ending in which she survives? Like, in the game at the moment, in the demo, it is scripted for this ending to only appear once. And then when you get back to this stage, even if you make exactly the same choices, it will lead you to the ending where she survives. So I think that's just the demo's way of saying, you've had this horrific experience, all the other times let's allow Shiharu to survive. But I'm going to stop talking now, folks. Thank you all so much for watching. This skip mode needs to be fixed at some point because I've tested it both out on both a version like this where I've already plowed through a game and a version where I've clicked on read, where it essentially does the same thing. Unread or read both have the same functions when it comes to skip mode, where it goes through the text regardless if you've seen it before or not. So I'm not sure if that is a game flaw or an engine flaw. But I'm going to leave it off that, folks. Thank you all so much for watching, and see you all in the next time of Missing Time when the full release comes out. Thank you all so much for watching, and take care of yourselves.